I'm standing here in a forest outside Kyoto, 58 years old, and I've walked through forests on 4 continents, always asking the same question. Where is the path? Where is my path? For decades, I believed this was the essential question, the spiritual question, the one that separated the seekers from the sleepwalkers. I read the mystics, studied the philosophers, sat with teachers who promised that if I looked hard enough, meditated long enough, surrendered deeply enough, I would find it, the path, capital P. But here's what nobody tells you when you're young and hungry for meaning. The question itself might be the problem. You see, we've been taught to think of life as a kind of treasure hunt. Somewhere out there, hidden in the cosmic fabric of reality, is your path, your purpose, your destiny, and your job, your spiritual duty, is to find it, to discover it, to align with it. This creates a very particular kind of suffering, the suffering of the perpetual seeker. Always looking, always searching, always feeling like you're not quite there yet, not quite on the right track. Maybe this teacher, this practice, this revelation will finally show you where the path is. I've met thousands of people in my travels who are trapped in this loop. Beautiful, intelligent, sincere people who have turned their lives into an endless reconnaissance mission. They're not living, they're scouting, surveying, waiting for the coordinates to come through. 3 years ago, I was hiking in the Scottish Highlands. Terrible weather, mist so thick you couldn't see 10 feet ahead. I'd lost the trail, the actual physical trail, and I was standing there, frustrated, spinning in circles, looking for the markers. And then it hit me. There were my footprints, in the mud behind me. A clear trail, not the trail I was looking for, but a trail nonetheless. A path I had made, was making, with every confused, uncertain step. That's when the question changed. Not where is the path, but what if I am the path? Let's examine where this idea comes from. This notion that there's a predetermined path waiting for you to find it. It's deeply embedded in our mythology. The hero's journey, the chosen one, the call to adventure. These stories have shaped our psychology more than we realize. They tell us that special people receive special calls. That destiny reaches down and taps you on the shoulder. That your job is to recognize the call and follow it. Joseph Campbell gave us, "Follow your bliss." Beautiful phrase, but it's been misunderstood. We turned it into a treasure map, as if bliss is a location, a destination, something you follow to. But Campbell was describing something more subtle, not following a path to bliss, but recognizing that the act of moving itself, when done with full presence, is the bliss. The path doesn't lead to the treasure, the path is the treasure. Eastern philosophy tried to tell us this. The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. Zen masters hitting students who asked, "What is the way?" These weren't cruel jokes, they were pointing to something crucial. The question itself creates the illusion of separation. When you ask, "Where is my path?" you've already divided reality. You've created a you here and a path there, subject and object, seeker and sought. And in that division, you've missed the fundamental truth. You are not separate from the path. You cannot be. Because the path is not a thing that exists independently of you. It's not a road that was paved before you arrived. It's the wake you leave in reality as you move through it. Think about it practically. When you make a choice, Any choice, what happens? You don't discover whether it was the right path. You make it into a path by walking it, by living it, by bringing your full presence to it. The job you took, the relationship you entered, the city you moved to. None of these were the path waiting for you. They became your path because you walked them. And they would have been completely different paths if someone else had walked them. Because the path is not separate from the walker. This isn't relativism. This isn't all paths are equal or nothing matters. This is something more radical. This is the recognition that paths don't exist until they're walked. That you are not finding your way. You are making your way. In real time. Right now. The belief in a predetermined path creates a very specific kind of psychological trap. I call it future alignment syndrome. It works like this. You believe that somewhere in the future, you will finally be aligned with your true path. You'll have found it. You'll be on it. And then you'll really start living. Then you'll be fulfilled. Then you'll be at peace. But that future moment never comes. Because every time you reach what you thought was the destination, you find yourself still here. Still now. Still with the same question. Is this it? Is this really the path? I've watched people do this for decades, waiting to start their real life, waiting for the sign, the confirmation, the feeling of absolute certainty that this is what they're supposed to be doing. Meanwhile, life is happening, the only life you have. And you're treating it as a rehearsal, a preparation, a waiting room for the real thing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That feeling of absolute certainty. It doesn't come from finding the right path. It comes from fully committing to the path you're on. From stopping the search long enough to actually walk. I know a woman in Barcelona spent 15 years searching for her calling. Tried everything, teaching, art, therapy, business, activism. Always feeling like she was missing something. Always wondering if the next thing would be the thing. Then her mother got sick. She had to stop searching, had to just show up, day after day, doing the unglamorous work of caregiving. No cosmic significance, no grand purpose, just presence. And she told me later, that's when I found it, not the path, but the understanding that there was no path to find, there was just this moment, this choice, this step, and then the next one. The tyranny of future alignment keeps you from seeing what's actually here. It turns the present moment into a problem to be solved rather than a reality to be lived. You're not lost. You're not off track. You're not missing something. You're standing exactly where every path begins. Here, now, with a choice about where to place your next step. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop looking for the path and start walking your path, whatever path that is, right now, today, that's when you find what you were looking for. Not because you discovered something that was hidden, but because you stopped hiding from what was obvious. The path is under your feet. It always has been. You just couldn't see it because you were looking ahead. Looking for something more significant, more special, more worthy of the word path. But there is nothing more significant than this. This moment, this choice, this step. Let me introduce a distinction that changed how I think about all of this. Quest mode versus exploration mode. Quest mode is how most of us approach life. You have an objective, a destination, a goal, and your job is to figure out the most efficient route to get there. Every choice is evaluated based on whether it brings you closer to the objective or takes you further away. This works brilliantly for certain things: building a house, learning a language, getting to the grocery store. But it's a terrible framework for living a life, because life is not a quest. There is no final boss to defeat, no treasure to retrieve, no kingdom to save. Those are stories we tell, useful stories sometimes, but not accurate maps of reality. Exploration mode is different. In exploration mode, there is no predetermined destination. There's only curiosity, attention, response. You move toward what calls to you. You investigate what interests you. You follow what feels alive. And here's the key: you don't know where you're going. That's not a bug. That's the feature. The not knowing is not a problem to be solved. It's the condition that makes exploration possible. When you're exploring, every step reveals new territory, not because you're getting closer to a hidden destination, but because you're creating new territory by being there, by bringing your consciousness to it, by making choices in real time based on what you're actually encountering, not what you thought you'd encounter. I think about the great explorers, not the ones following maps, but the ones making them. They didn't know where they were going. That was the whole point. They were moving into unknown territory, and every step was both a discovery and a creation. That's what your life is. Not a journey from A to B, but an exploration of what emerges when you bring your full presence to whatever is here. This doesn't mean you can't have goals. You can, but you hold them differently. Not as destinations that will finally complete you, but as interesting directions to explore. As experiments, as ways of engaging with reality that might reveal something new. In quest mode, you're always measuring. Am I there yet? Am I on track? Am I making progress? This creates constant anxiety because you're never quite there. There's always more distance to cover. In exploration mode, you're always here, fully here, because here is where the exploration is happening. You're not trying to get somewhere else. You're trying to be fully present to where you are. And paradoxically, this is when you actually move, not toward a predetermined destination, but into deeper and deeper engagement with life itself. The path is not something you find in the future. It's something you create in the present, not through grand decisions and cosmic revelations, but through small choices, moment by moment, step by step. Where do you place your attention? What do you say yes to? What do you say no to? How do you respond to what's actually here rather than what you wish was here? These choices, these tiny, unglamorous, moment-to-moment choices, these are what create the path, your path, the only path you'll ever walk. So we arrive at the heart of it. The title of this exploration: you are not seeking the path, you are the path seeking itself. What does that mean? It means that the impulse you feel, that restlessness, that longing, that sense that there's something more, that's not you being lost, that's not you being off track. That's the path itself, moving through you. That's life, exploring its own possibilities through your consciousness. You are not separate from the process. You are the process. The universe is not a static thing. It's not a completed creation. It's an ongoing exploration, an endless becoming. And you, your consciousness, your choices, your presence, you're one of the ways the universe explores itself. When you feel called towards something, That's not a message from some external destiny. That's the path seeking itself through you. That's life feeling its way forward, using your awareness as a sensing organ. And when you respond to that call, when you take a step, make a choice, commit to something, you're not following a path. You're creating it. You're bringing into existence something that didn't exist before. This is both terrifying and liberating. It's terrifying because there's no guarantee, no cosmic insurance policy, no way to know if you're doing it right. You're making it up as you go. We all are. But it's liberating because it means you can't get it wrong. There is no wrong path. There are only paths. Paths you create by walking them. And every path, every single one, reveals something, teaches something, offers something. The path that leads to success teaches you about achievement. The path that leads to failure teaches you about resilience. The path that leads to joy teaches you about presence. The path that leads to suffering teaches you about compassion. None of these are the path. All of them are your path if you walk them fully, if you bring your whole self to them. If you stop asking, is this the right path, and start asking, what is this path teaching me? I'm 58 now. I've walked a lot of paths. Some I chose deliberately, some I stumbled onto, some I was thrown onto by circumstances beyond my control. And here's what I know. Every single one of them was the right path. Not because they led me to some predetermined destination, but because I walked them, because I brought my presence to them, because I let them change me. The path is not ahead of you, it's not behind you, it's not hidden somewhere waiting to be discovered. The path is you, moving, choosing, responding, creating. You are the path seeking itself, so stop looking, start walking, not toward something, just walking, fully present, fully here, fully alive to this moment and this choice and this step. That's all there is. That's all there's ever been. And it's enough. More than enough. It's everything.